All right. So let's do the first section here. It says use the drawing and the given information to name the segments. All right. So they give us the options up here. So CF. So I'm just going to start here at C, goes to F. What do you notice? It's starting at a what? A corner, a vertex, yes? Quinn. Okay, so which one of these can start at a corner? Like has to start at a corner? Angle bisector, a what? Maybe, not necessarily. An altitude has to start at a corner, right? And so does a median. Okay, now let's look at the other side over here. What's happening to the side where it's crossing? Right, it's being bisected, yes? So which one of these starts at a corner and bisects the opposite side? Because notice there's no right angle here, okay? So we can't, since there's no right angle, which ones can we eliminate? We can eliminate altitude, right? And perpendicular bisector, because those have to have the right angle. So it's either an angle bisector, a median, and it can't be a mid-segment. So which one is it? Is it cutting the angle in half, or is it cutting the side in half? It's cutting the side in half. So median. Yeah. Yep, median. All right. Now let's look at an angle bisector. Where do y'all see an angle being cut into two equal pieces? At what? I know these marks are a little bit off, but they're supposed to be right here. Yes, y'all see those? That means that we've got two congruent angles here. So it's at point A. So follow that line, what? AE. So AE is an angle bisector. So number 3, angle bisector. Okay, now how about BD? BD, it's starting at a corner, and it's making this right angle. Right, it's an altitude. It's not a perpendicular bisector because you see this side, is this side being cut into two equal pieces down here on the bottom? No, so it's only an altitude. All right, very good. Okay, we got those done. All right. Now let's go on here to number 4. This is like what we did yesterday. So y'all talk through these with me, okay? Because this is like a review for our test. So number 4, it says P is the centroid of triangle LMN. So remember centroid makes the big piece and the small piece of that median, right? Okay, and it says what is the length? Oh, QN. So we're talking about this one here. It says QN, and is QN the big, small, or the whole thing, guys? The whole thing. QN is 9. And then they want PN and PQ. So PN and PQ. PN is the big one, yep, and PQ is the small. Okay, so how can we do this? By what? What's your small one? Your small one is how much of the whole thing? 1/3. So divided by 3. Your small is 1/3 of the whole thing. So 1/3 times 9, which is 9 divided by 3. So it's 9 divided by 3. 3. Okay. And is that PN or is that PQ? The small one. PQ. Okay, now how about Pn? How could we find Pn? Right, it's 2/3. It's 2 times the small. So we could do 3 times 2, yes. And that would give us 6. Or we could do 9 times 2/3, which would also give us 6. But think about this too. Guys, what's the whole thing? 9. We know the small piece is 3. So what's 9 minus 3? 6. Yeah, so there's more than one way to do these, okay? More than one way. So to find PQ, you could do PN. No, I'm sorry. I have that backwards. To find PN, you could take PQ times 2. So 3 times 2, which is 6. Okay. Or we said we could take QN times 2/3. So 9 times 2/3, which was 6. Or you could take QN and take away PQ. So 9 minus 3. So it's 6, no matter which way. Okay? So however is easiest for you to see, you choose one of those. Did we get that down? Okay. Quinn, are you writing this? Like, because I'm going to erase it right now. It goes on this one. This is the room number. Okay, so now let's go on to our next one. All right. It says here, find the measure of angle DEY, YEF, and angle DEF. Okay, what do we know about the two angles right here, y'all? How do we know that? So what do you see about these? Right, these lines are what? Congruent. So when you have your picture look like this and you see these two lines are congruent, you know that those two angles up there are congruent, okay? So DEY is this one, yes? So angle DEY is congruent to angle what? YEF. Yes? That's supposed to be an angle symbol. I'm sorry. It's not very good. Okay, so we know that these two angles are congruent. So y'all, if they're congruent, what do we do with the two expressions? We make them what? Equal. Yep, that's exactly right. So 12x minus 3 equals 9x plus 6. Okay, what do we do? How do I solve it? Yeah, move the 9x, right? How am I going to move it? Subtract. Yep, very good. Minus 9x minus 9x. Okay, so 12x minus 9x is 3x. We still have minus 3 equal to 6. Right, add 3 to both sides. So 3x, whoops. 3x is 9. So divide by 3, right? So x is 3. Okay. Now, what do we have to do? Yeah, we got to plug in. Hint, how many of these do you actually have to plug into? Only one of them, right? Okay, so which one do y'all want to do, the 12x or the 9x? 9, okay, so let's plug in there. And so this is going to be angle YEF. So we do 9 times 3 plus 6. So what's 9 times 3? 27 plus 6, 33. Okay, so we get 33. What other angle do I know now? Yeah, DEY, the blue one, yes? Okay, it's, what is it? It's also 33 because they're congruent, yes? Okay, now how about angle DEF? Yeah, DEF is the whole thing, so we just add them. So yes, it's 66. So angle DEY was 33, and angle DEF is 66. Okay, very good. Okay, and y'all remember we have our test on Thursday, so that's what all of this is for. So make sure that you're writing down all the work, because if you're not showing work on the test, you're losing points. Okay? Thursday. Are we ready to go? All right, number 6. A mid-segment. Y'all remember what mid-segments mean? Right. So your mid-segment, how many mid-segments do you need to make this side here, QS? Like the mid-segment is how much of this one? Half, right? So if I want to go from the mid-segment to this side out there, I'm going to what? Times 2. But on this one, I want to go from the outside side there, and I want to go back to the mid-segment. So what's going the other way? Yeah, divide by 2. Okay, so y'all, what's 8 divided by 2? 4. And then think of it the other way. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, so it depends upon what you have. If you're going from the big one to the small one, you're going to divide. If you're going to go from the small one out to the big one, you're going to multiply. And it's by 2 because it's a mid-segment, it's halfway down. All right. Okay, now it says BD is a median. So what does that tell you? What does a median do? Okay, what is going to get cut in half, y'all? Which side? AC, right? So we should show that AD and DC are congruent, yes? Okay, because of the word median. Median. All right, so what's DC? 13. And then how about AC, everybody? AC is the whole thing. Right, 13 times 2. So 26. Because this one's also 13. Okay, we ready? Okay. All right, number 8. Okay, read carefully. It says it's the perpendicular bisector. LN is the perpendicular bisector of PM. So what does that tell you about that 10x minus 5 and the 7x plus 1, guys? Right. Whenever you see that perpendicular bisector, you know that these diagonal pieces are congruent to each other. So when two things are congruent, what do we do? What does congruent mean? They're equal. So just set those equal. So 10x minus 5 equals 7x plus 1. Okay? Help me solve it. All right. So take away 7x from both sides. So 3x minus 5 equals 1. Okay? Now everybody, right, add 5. So 3x is 6. Right, divide by 3. So x is 2. There you go. All right. Getting here to the end, right? Guys, you know, this practice is going to be very much like the test. So I would make sure I was writing down everything and listening to everything that we were talking about, okay? All right, so MD is a mid-segment of triangle ZXY. Okay, and then they say XY is 48, so let's label. So XY is 48, and MD is 7x plus 3. Solve for x. Okay, y'all. What can we do? Right. We can take that side here, xy, and we can divide it by 2, and that would give us that mid-segment. Okay? So we have 7x plus 3 equals, and remember, we did the 1/2, right, times that third side. So let's just solve. So 7x plus 3. And what's half of 48, y'all? 24. Okay, and then we just solve. So what are we going to do first? Yep, minus 3. Good. So 7x would be 21, and then divide by 7, right? So x is 3. There you go. Not too bad, right? And then I think this will be our last one, right? Yay, last one. And then we're going to have time. We're going to watch the video for tomorrow, okay? All right, here we go. Now it says find the length of CD. You have to be careful here. We got to look at our diagram. There's no markings showing that anything's congruent, right? But look at the angles here, 33 and 33. So what do we know about these two angles? Right, they're congruent, they're equal. So what does that mean about these distances over here? About CD and AD? That means they're equal as well. Okay? Also, like you could prove that these two triangles are congruent because here's an angle an angle, and then they share that side in the middle, right? So that would mean that these two sides would have to be congruent. So 4x plus 11 is going to be equal to 6x minus 13. Right? And then let's solve. Again, take your small x to your big X. So take away 4x on both sides. So 11 is equal to 2x minus 13. And then move the minus 13 with plus 13. So add these together. So you get 24 is equal to 2x. And just remember, divide by 2. So x is 12. Is that our answer? No, what do they want? Yeah, CD. So we need this length right there. So what do we have to do? Plug it in. 6 times 12 minus 13. So what's 6 times 12? 72 minus 13. So 72 minus 10 is 62. Take away 3, 59, right? Yep. So there you go. Okay. So y'all, if you can do that, you can do the test. Okay? Alrighty. So let's go on ahead and we are going to watch our video.